Hi everybody, welcome back to Jenkins Boat Works. I am Chuck Jenkins. In this video, we're going to continue working on our Somme Sound 12.5 sailboat building project. And I believe this is episode 50. We've got a lot of stuff done in the last episode. We got it planked. The boat is completely planked, and what an exciting day that is. But as one viewer noted, I'm 50% done with 90% to go. And that's really true. There's an awful lot left. So we now need to start thinking about painting the hull and getting to a point where we can flip the boat over. But we still have some stuff we have to do in order to get to that point. And so we have to finish the keel assembly, and this is several parts. There's an outer stem that goes on the front. There's a 4-foot filler, a keel, another keel that goes on top of the Keelson, and also the deadwood. And so we're making a lot of progress in this regard, but the first thing we have to do is clean up our planking and the Keelson so it can accept all these various different pieces. So that's what most of today's video is about. If you haven't subscribed, consider doing so. And if you do, click the little bell. That way you'll get update notifications because we've got more video coming and coming fast. Also, there's a playlist. We'll have that in the video description. Like I said, episode 50. So if you missed an episode or you want to binge watch, do that. And so we're glad you're here. Leave your comments and your thumbs ups and share the video. Tell your friends about a boat building project they can watch, and let's jump in. I'll show you what kind of work we're getting done. I've started cleaning some of this up. So we've got these cut off and now sanded to get them smooth with the transom. And I'm seeing some little gaps here, right under there. But for the most part, pretty good. There's some places here in our kerf marks where we've got exposure. So we're gonna have to get some thickened epoxy. There's a little hole right there. Get some thickened epoxy and fill in some of these little areas. And I sanded down on here just a little bit. And there's a little void in the plywood right there. Now the next thing is we've got to sand down this ridge on both sides on the Keelson. And I've started here. I just used a plane that's not sanded yet, but I think I'm going to have to climb up there. And I'm worried about the whole jig and everything taking my extra 200 pounds. I have stood on the rails previously, and there you see these boards underneath here going across underneath. I've stood on those, so I expect it probably be fine. I'm gonna be right careful when I first get up there. We also did a little sanding, planing and sanding up here at the bow. Man, she sure looks nice up here where the stem is and the way that planking is coming in. Just super happy with it. Again, there's a couple little places like here where the gains were, where there's just couple little voids. Kind of a bad one there. We're just gonna fill all that with thickened epoxy. And that'll take care of that. Now there's an outer stem that comes on over this. It's over there somewhere. I got to get rid of all those sticks too. That's all the leftover trash and planking. I'm getting ready to climb on top of that thing. Whew. We got a plane down on the Keelson. You hear a big thud. So we're just gonna trim it down to where it's nice and flat and even with the Keelson. Kind of trimming the plywood kind of diagonally, basically. Oddly satisfying. Okay, maybe that's a better answer. Oh yeah. At least for a minute. Man, we're taking off a lot. My wife's gonna be like, so what'd you do today? I'll be like, oh, not much, just worked on the boat. You can kind of tell with the ply lines if you're staying straight. It's warmer up here. This shop ceiling's 14 feet at the rafter, or at the, before the rafters go up. I remember when we had the Keelson Ensign in here, it was on a trail and it was way high, so you had to climb up and get in it. And I was never cold working on that because it was so high up in the shop. That was a fun project. If you haven't ever seen that, there's a whole playlist for it. We basically did a total interior remodel. Pretty much took a winter. It was a fun project. I may have to sharpen this again. We're knocking it down though. In a younger year, I'd have just jumped off of here. I ain't doing that today. Yeah. I don't know, it still feels pretty sharp. I am going to get down and take a break though. I don't want to get too carried away. I haven't dug into the Keelson at all, as far as I know. I'm worried about it be a little concave, like this part's taller than it needs to be. Take the plane and kind of hold it like that sideways. Hold the front of the shoe down there like that. That's good enough with the plane. I'm gonna clean this up and bring Bernie the belt sander up here and clean it up. But I have to be cool with that because I may just use a Craftsman orbital. Bernie can get pretty aggressive. Yeah, that's cool. You can see the shape of the Keelson kind of. Like this is where the deadwood will go. So it's fairly wide. It'll be interesting to see what the dimensions on it show and how it matches up with this. And that's probably a good 5 inches, maybe 5.5 across there. It's kind of nice, these strakes give you something to kind of grab onto. Awesome. I could have done more back there. I've been using the circular orbital sander up there, but I just got Bernie out. It's getting too wide to where I can't stay flat on the edges. So Bernie's going to take it down in a hurry. I got to be super careful and not get crazy. So with a lot of success sanding down the garboard plank to get it flat and even with the Keelson, we made good progress, and I really like how it looks. It's a really nice fair curve all the bottom of the boat. And then I found this piece, this outer stem that we laminated up so many months ago, and I just got it clamped on there. Now it had a little bit of spring back to it, so it's not fitting exactly perfect, but it'll be easy to bend it down. So now what I'm trying to figure out is what's the next thing to do, and the next thing is to put the keel on over the smoothed out garboard and Keelson. So we go back to the plans, and on the Keelson and keel page, we get all the dimensions that we need here for the keel. And I actually went back and looked at my previous episodes in this build series, I believe 24 and 25, about how I actually fashioned together my lumber for the Keelson. I just kind of didn't remember what all I did when we put it on there, so it was kind of handy to be able to go back and look at it. So this calls for mahogany, and basically I need 7 inches wide and about 11 feet long. So it tells you exactly what it's supposed to be, almost 130 inches. So I went to Metro Hardwoods down in Independence, Missouri, and I found some mahogany. Now what's really nice about it is it's already cut to 1/2 inch thick, which is what that plan calls for. And when you look at the details on this, you'll see that it also calls for a keel filler, which is about 5 feet long. And so that's just a piece that goes in on top of the keel, that in between that and the lead, to try to allow you to just make a flat keel, lead keel, but so then you got to have this little filler to get it to take any gap out of any kind of curve that's up there. So we're not going to worry about that part exactly yet, but the plans called for getting a 1 inch piece of wood, resawing it so you got 2 1/2 inch pieces, and then saving part of that for the keel filler. Well, I didn't feel like resawing this, especially since I was able to get the 1/2 inch stuff already milled out. So we got some nice mahogany here. It's way wider than the 7 inches, but it's what they had. And I couldn't get 11 feet. So we got a couple of 8-foot boards and 1 5, and we should be able to do some scarfing on this. But I'm gonna clean them up first, get them straight, and get straight edges on them, run them through the table saw here probably, and take them down to 7 inches. One of the things I've already done is I got up on top of the boat and I measured where is the widest part that we're gonna need to cover up. And it was about 6 3/4 up there in between stations 8 and 10, which corresponds very nicely with the plan, because here's station 8 and 10. It shows this to be 7 inches. So this is 7 inches, but you can see that it's just slightly narrower than the 7 inch outside line, and in between 8 and 10. So that makes me feel really good that we're on the right track with this. So we'll do some scarfing on these boards and get some stock ready to go so that we can make our keel. And it's not quite 11 feet. Now, part of the rest of this is it has to fit up in that inner or outer stem. And there's like a 6-inch diagonal cut that has to be made on that. We'll look at that after a while. I had that on another plan sheet, and we'll show it as we get closer to installing it. If you like the video, remember to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.